YouTube channel. Today we are learn about the great philosopher Karl Marx. At the end of 1999, when the world was looking forward to a new era, the BBC conducted a poll of its website readers. The question asked was, who was the greatest thinker of the last 1,000 years? L.V.D. Bono, who excelled in the many fields, chose the American philosopher and psychologist William James as the great thinker. And Roger Student chose the Italian philosopher and Catholic priest Thomas Aquinas as the greatest thinker. But BBC online readers who responded to a poll from around the world had a different opinion. They chose Karl Marx as the greatest thinker of the last 1,000 years. The names of all other great thinkers of the world were behind the name of Marx. So, who is Marx and what did he do? Karl Marx was a philosopher, author, social theorist, and communist. He is famous for his theories about capitalism, socialism, and communism. Marx, in conjunction with Friedrich Engels, published the Communist in 1848. Later in life, he wrote Das Kapital, which discussed the labor theory of value. First of all, we will talk about early life and education of Karl Marx. Karl Marx born in Trier, Prussia on 5th May 1818. Marx was the son of successful Jewish lawyer who converted to Lutheranism before Marx's birth. Marx studied law in Bonn and Berlin, where he was introduced to the philosophy of G.W.F. Hegel. He became involved in radicalism at a young age through the Young Hegelians, a group of students who criticized the political and religious establishment of the day. Marx received his doctorate from the University of Jena in 1841. His radical belief prevented him from securing a teaching position, so instead he took a job as a journalist and later became the editor of Rheinische Zeitung, a liberal newspaper in Cologne. After living in Prussia, Marx lived in France for some time, and that is where he met his lifelong friend Friedrich Engels. He was exiled from France and then lived briefly in Belgium before moving to London, where he spent the rest of his life with his wife. Marx died of bronchitis and fusillade in London on 14th March 1883 and was buried at Highgate Cemetery in London. His original grave was nondescript, but in 1954, the Communist Party of Great Britain unveiled a large tombstone, including a bust of Marx and the inscription, "Workers of all lands unite," and Eggleson's interpretation of the famous paras in the Communist Manifesto, "Proletarians of all countries unite." Next, we will discuss about Marx's theories. Communism, socialism, and capitalism are the famous theories of Marx. But today we will discuss about the theory of communism. German philosopher Karl Marx said that society was divided into classes. Most people were in the working class, also known as the proletariat. They worked for a ruling class called as bourgeoisie. These people owned most of land, mines, factories, and everything else that produce food, fuel, and other goods. The profit from selling these goods made the ruling class rich. The working class worked for the ruling class. As the bourgeoisie or ruling class got richer, the proletariat or workers were getting poor. The government, police, and armed forces helped the bourgeoisie or ruling class to protect their profits and their ruling position in the society. Marx said that a class struggle was going on between the ruling class and the working class. Eventually, the workers would be able to stand it no longer. Then they would join together in a revolution to get rid of the ruling class. After getting rid of the ruling class, the workers would take control of the government and run the country for the benefits of the workers. Land and property would be shared out, and everybody would have equal rights. This would be a socialist society. But because of the all ruling classes might try to get their money and power back, a strong government would be needed to sometime. Eventually, everybody would came to accept this new kind of society. There would no longer be any needs for the government or police. The government would cease to exist and people live by a system of communism. People would work to produce whatever they could and share this with everyone else. They would take for themselves only as much as they needed. Marx called this communism, and that in a nutshell in Marx theory of communism. There is no any disputes that Karl Marx theories have led to revolutionary changes in society today. Therefore, he was earned the honor of being the greatest thinker in the last 1,000 years.
We have already learned about Karl Marx communism. It is also important to know the shortcomings of Karl Marx communism. So, now we will examine both the pros and cons of communism and encouraging a deeper understanding of its impact on societies past and present. So, let's get started and take a closer look at the pros of communism. One of the key advantages of communism is its emphasis on economic equality. Under communist system, wealth and resources are distributed evenly among the population, ensuring that everyone has access to the basic necessities of life. This approach aims to eliminate social classes and reduce income disparities. By prioritizing the needs of the community over individual accumulation of wealth, communism strives to create a society where everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. In a communist society, essential services such as healthcare, education, and housing are typically provided by the state, ensuring that all citizens have access to these fundamental rights. This approach helps to all avoid poverty and inequality, promoting a more equitable society. Furthermore, by minimizing the influence of wealth and privilege, communism seeks to create a system where success is based on merit and effort rather than on social status or economic background. Another advantage of communism is its focus on fostering social solidarity and cooperation by promoting a sense of shared responsibility and common goals. Communism aims to build strong communities and reduce social divisions in a communist society. Individuals are encouraged to work together for the collective well-being rather than pursuing individual interests at the expense of others. Communism emphasized the importance of collective action and collaboration, aiming to create a society where people support and rely on each other. This sense of solidarity can lead on stronger social bonds, increased trust among community members, and a great sense of belonging. By prioritizing the collective good over individual gain, communism seeks to foster a spirit of cooperation that can help address societal challenges and promote social harmony. Besides that, elimination of exploitation, social welfare and public services, emphasis on social justice are also pros of communism. Next, let's get started and take a closer look at the cons of communism. One of the primary drawbacks of communism, the suppression of individual freedom and personal liberties. In a communist system, the government controls all aspects of the economy, including property, ownership, and distribution of resources. This centralized control often leads to restriction of freedom of speech, assembly, and expressions. Individuals may have limited opportunities to pursue their own interests, make independent choice, or engage in entrepreneurship. This lack of individual freedom can stifle creativity, innovation, and personal development. Apart from that, economic inefficiency, lack of incentive and motivation, limited customer choices are also the cons of Marx communism. In conclusion, exploring the pros and cons of communism, unveils a complex and divisive ideology. On one hand, communism promised equality, collective progress, and social welfare, aiming to eradicate class disparities and provide for all. It emphasizes communal ownership and solidarity among the working class. However, on the other hand, the centralized control, limited individual freedom, and lack of economic incentive often hinder innovation, individual aspiration, and economic growth.
So, finally, what is your thought about Karl Marx? If you enjoy this video, please like and comment this video and subscribe my YouTube channel.